What do you get? What- Have you had a trim at all since this new long hair, Joe?
I have not had scissors touch the mains, I think, for going on a year and a half.
Is that the plan to just see how far you can go before you lose your mind? Or
Dude, depression's weird. I don't know.
I know it is, and it manifests in all sorts of ways.
It's a crazy son of a bitch.
I love it. I want to see. I want to see what version. How long do I want to see? Because this is the longest anyone has ever seen your hair, right?
Oh yes, this is a new era of me.
Yeah, this is your like Jesus era.
I can officially man bun it. That's fun.
Oh yeah, do you like that?
Fun. I do like that part. Yes.
Yeah. It's fun
But
to
I
just
hate long hair. It's not fun to have.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loved it when I had long hair. Everyone was like, "Man, you gotta get that curly long hair back." And I'm like, it was a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass. Yeah. And I'm at the age where it's like I don't learn fast enough, so I'm still eating it all the time. I'm like, if I put food here and I'll heal,
Yeah, and you get stuff stuck in it. Like there's a penny stuck to gum in my hair.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes. I think it starts with your show.
I guess animals don't need haircuts because they just shed, right? Like all animals with
All
fur.
right, so we got the title. I'll write that down.
yeah,
animals
please.
don't need haircuts.
Animals don't need haircuts.
But that's also false.
You're not
because
going to guess
some
why.
do. You let a sheep have its hair like a sheep will become a massive ball of hair and like to the point where it can't even really live its life. So
Oh yeah, that's right. I did see. Did you saw that video recently? There was
shearing
a video.
a sheep is necessary.
There was this video of a sheep that like wandered off, and they said that it went into like a nearby cave in like a forest and survived off of the grass outside of the cave.
Cave sheep. Do.
But listen to this. Cave sheep. Da, 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 da. Cave sheep needs a bride. Cave sheep needs a family.
But cave sheep needs a haircut first.
But anyway, they found it in this cave, and it had been living in there for 5 years.
Damn, dude. Cave sheep's a baller.
So imagine how big that fucking fur was. So yeah, I guess there are some animals that like. How crazy is that?
Yeah, did we just bred them that way, right?
Did we breed them that way?
They can't be out in the wild. Otherwise, we'd have mountains of fur, of sheep fur that we'd have forests of it. We'd have to navigate.
But there's got to be other animals that rely on the intervention of another species for it to survive.
No.
Because
Nope,
there are
can't be
because there's so many. Dude, this conversation has been coming up a lot this week. There's been a lot of like
The sheep conversation?
Is it the conversation of like how sensitive our ecosystem is? Like if one, they always say like if the bees were to go away, it would like completely ravish our ecosystem.
Well, like that's the one.
That's just the one. Yeah. But it's true for any species, I think. And it's true for any species that if a species were to be eradicated, it would devastate our ecosystem.
There's one that is not.
I think I know what you're about to do.
Yeah, but are you sure? Because I think we are too.
I mean,
Unless you're just going to say sharks.
to our to our version of life,
No.
for sure.
Do you know what it is, Joe?
Huh?
Do you know what the answer?
Is it not us?
Republicans.
What's up? Hey, what's up?
It's mosquitoes.
Is
Also
it
known
true
as
though?
Democrats.
Is it true? What's up? Wait. Is that true?
According to Hank Green, so probably not.
Yeah, that guy's pretty wrong. He has to correct himself a lot.
All the time. Have you seen how many SciShow apology videos he's done? It's
More than
crazy.
regular. Yeah.
Apologizing about the gumball thing. Apologizing about the turtles thing. Apologizing about the stars thing. Dude, that'd be a fun channel to go like.
The
The
title
titles
of
don't go all the way down.
And apparently it was The Fault in My Stars.
Yeah.
Very good. The fault. Yeah, there it is. That's the name of the episode. The Fault in My Stars.
We knew where Alaska was the whole time.
What about a channel where someone does like science facts and then like, but after every one, there's like a week that goes by and then an apology video goes up, redacting everything that was said in the previous video.
So funny.
I woke up this morning and I watched a half-hour video. I mean, the algorithm has given me some weird stuff, but it was a half-hour video on where the rivers in Hyrule go. And
oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, and this
I
watched every second of it. Like Annie Austin, I think is his name, and he goes through not only like the rivers, but like he's basically like none of the rivers lead to the ocean. So I'm gonna map out every single river and see how they're all connected. And he gets into like the hydraulics of it, and he gets into like how rivers sometimes they'll bifurcate or they'll converge, and bifurcations are far less common than convergences, where they're flowing, two streams can unite versus
everything
one stream.
Eventually flow into Lake Hyrule.
So exactly, you would think that, Joe, but it turns out that yes, it does. But the other one there's two where it eventually flows into, and one is what you just said, and then there's an unnamed lake in the Gerudo region that they didn't even give a name because it's very like small and insignificant, and everything flows there as well. And also,
let me write this down,
rivers,
Chris. Slow down.
write this down.
Let's slow down really quick. Wait.
And
the Gerudo. There's a river in Gerudo that is undocumented. Gerudo.
I've never heard Gerudo.
Is it Gerudo?
Yeah, there's apparently an unnamed lake in that area.
Gerudo.
And he starts on the plateau, and then he also goes into all the differences between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom that have shown land degradation.
Oh,
and how
what?
all of the rivers now are connected through.
Wait, is there
systems.
land degradation between the games?
Yeah, there's like some small areas between bodies of water where it's like the valley has become more like.
That's some detailed shit right
Well,
there.
I remember reading some post someone made about like the overworld of Zelda and if it has changed over the years and how it has changed. Is it?
Yeah.
Do they really like keep up with it? I thought there was some geographical inconsistencies.
Wait.
Or
So is the river system a continuous circular cycle, or is there an actual source for these rivers?
Yeah, so that is kind of the big question, and like apparently not, but there are certain sources, like there is the water basin from the water temple that flows down, but that's just like a temple up there with water. And apparently there's a couple areas where you can tell that, like, because he was tracking the flow of the water.
Whoa.
And how sometimes
by throwing an apple into the water and watching it go for hours.
And basically he's like, it's a self-enclosed system. He's like, they either did the most like hydraulically oriented, like really smart thing, or it's just like water gushing out of a rock for no reason.
Like it's so magic.
It's like magic. Yeah, he
it's
was like
just magic. It's like a
fantasy.
But
there's no magic in that world, so who knows?
Exactly.
There is no magic in that world. It can all be explained by science.
Yeah.
Wizard. I don't know why, but I don't remember how everyone did that for like 5 years.
Yes, I do.
And then it went away forever and never came back.
That was around the time of do you remember when like you'd walk up and go, suck it?
Yeah. Oh God. Oh man.
Suck it and not, where you would say something and then go, not.
Yeah, it was good. Not.
Speaking of long videos that you recently happened upon, Elliot, you posted a long TikTok.
Yeah, you did.
And and this is big deal. This is a big deal. You haven't done this. You don't really do that. And what's the deal? What is that? I saw that. I liked it.
You created content.
You created content. What are you doing there? What are you working on, buddy?
I created a piece of content for the first time in about 4 or 5 years, I think, in which I did every part of it. And
how did that feel?
Honestly, super nerve-wracking. And then super rewarding, and then now I'm pretty chill about it. But it is exciting. It was very exciting, genuinely exciting.
You got the boost. You got that validation boost,
and it's
I love it.
natural.
Validation boost. Yeah,
it's natural, and it feels like you never stopped. You just like it's just like you doing your commentary like you used to do kind of back in the day, but you look older in a good way.
Time has the signs there's some
signs of time have been kind to you though. Like you don't look like an old man. You just look like there's a
visually you have JD advanced.
Thank you.
Suck it. But yeah, you did a little bit of a political.
Yeah, talk about the weird thing because it is still going when it's so funny, and I do
great.
love it so
it's
much.
The best. It's the best.
No, it's great. I hope you do more. You did.
Thanks.
You plan
I'm
on
excited
doing more?
about. I'll do something for sure. I like just like I really didn't expect it to. I saw it go. Like I woke up and saw that like viewer spike, and I was like, babe. Like first it tapered off when I posted it. And I was like, that's fine. I have like 2,000, 1,000 followers on there. But then when we woke up the next day, it like had that line. And I was like, I don't know how the app works, but I like turned to Grace. I was like,
Did it
do it?
Did this work?
I was like, look, it's going up. Like, and then I would like refresh it and I was like, oh no. And then there's that fear of going like, oh no, is this going to be like fall into the wrong kind of algorithm? And this is going to be like a bunch of harassment, but people were surprisingly nice.
Super positive response for sure. Did you still hate every step of the editing process?
Kind of, but really it was almost like I think I would hate it if I did it regularly or all the time because I screwed it up so many times. Like I messed up the captions and would have to like start that part over. And I had never used the app before. I edited all like in TikTok basically. And that never done.
What'd you think about that process?
Kind of fun. Like for a second I was like, okay, this is like, I can see how people could get good at this and like quick at it.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. Grace will do ones where she edits it on the computer and then uploads it to TikTok. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
What a boomer move,
dude! Can I tell you? I recently helped edit a piece of content for Dynamic Banter, and I was like, I got sent the footage and the pieces, the assets that I needed, and I just needed to like assemble it and do little light editing and some audio stuff. And I was like. All right, well, I'll just throw these videos into the timeline on Premiere, and I'll just fucking easy peasy. But it's like the iPhone videos don't really play well with the Premiere stuff, and it's like all these like weird little Premiere Adobe issues, and I'm like, fuck, I used to edit all of my vlogs and video content on my phone. I'm like, can I just do everything on my fucking phone? Like, and you could totally just edit everything on your phone, but there's just like some things that aren't available on the phone, and you're like, I want a perfect app that does everything.
Are you talking about specifically for TikTok or just for?
Yeah. I mean, because I was making like a vertical clip, and I was like, the iPhone footage just wouldn't play nice with the Premiere timeline, and I'm like, can I just? If I didn't have overlapping audio, like for some reason, none of the apps do like overlapping audio very well. Like you can't like bring an audio track under another audio track for some reason. I don't know why.
So not to get too deep into the weeds of the content creation bubble here, Elliot, but I saw that you only posted on TikTok. Is there a reason you did not entice your Instagram audience with the same footage?
Let me write this down.
Yeah, here, write this down. So I tried, but you can't put videos, to my knowledge, on Instagram that are that long. Up until
that's true.
Instagram TV, you could, but they took that away.
Gotcha.
But
that's right.
I was going to, I was like, where do you? How do I write this down, Steve? I was like, where is it?
Could you put it on YouTube Reels?
No, because that's only like a minute, or the shorts are like a minute long or something.
I mean, Joe, I hear what you're saying. I mean, obviously, I think you'd have more engagement if across multiple social media platforms. But if TikTok is where we can find your long form stream of consciousness, story time stuff, then I think that's okay. I think that's okay.
Anyways, it was pretty good, Elliot. Good job.
Thanks, guys. It was really
good
fun.
Work, Elliot.
TikTok, star now. So
yeah, you are.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to.
Here's the
can't
thing about TikTok stars: they never burn out.
No, they
Right.
don't. No, they don't. And they're always full of money in their pockets.
Um, I was watching Drew Gooden, and he was doing a video on AI, and how AI, like, the hype is overblown or whatever. But he was saying that on Spotify now, if you get on and find these playlists that are like jazz while you read or whatever, and you go through the artists, he's like, they're all the same name format, and if you click on them, they're all like, they just started in 2024, and all the music sounds exactly the same. And so there's this conspiracy theory that Spotify is using AI to create music and then taking that revenue, and rather than give it to artists, just circling it back to themselves.
Wait. So, because when we do this show, when I like host this show from my computer, I pull up like a smooth jazz YouTube video, usually, and it is like just some jazz piano being twinkled out. Tinkered, twinkled. Yeah, exactly. Could this be AI? We could have been using AI music in our show.
Dude, we might be AI. Who fucking knows?
What?
I'm just saying, dude. Wait,
Wait,
did I
you're
just become
saying
self-aware?
Dude, I was talking to my friend. Speaking of like the whole self-aware AI shit, like these conversations keep coming up recently because I don't know, things are hectic and crazy, and we have to search for answers like we do, the curse of consciousness. And I was thinking about consciousness, and I was thinking about like, we're probably, we think about how we're the only beings on this planet with like consciousness, but I don't think that's true, right? Like we're learning little by little that maybe other species have a form of consciousness that just isn't as, like, I think the difference is memory retention, or
Are
like
you about to talk about that post about the crows?
No, will you give me what that is?
So there was a Reddit post where it was a lady talking about two crows that lived outside of her place that she's been watching for years and years and years. She said, this man crow and this woman crow have been together for 15 years. And the girl crow's, the top half of her beak was ripped off.
I saw
So
that.
she could not effectively eat. And the male crow, has been feeding her for 15 years, getting food, coming back, and feeding his wife. They've created many clutches, if that's the right term, probably not, of
Handbags?
babies. Yes. They've created many handbags. They have a great small business. It's on Etsy.
Good.
It's called Crow to Go. And
I love that.
but no, it's been feeding its partner for 15 years, and the whole crow community has been helping out, and they all take care of each other. So that's a form of consciousness to some degree.
Yeah, for sure, right? Like it seems like that's not an autonomous, like that's not just like when you see worker bees just kind of doing their thing, like, or we feel like crows are hunter gatherers, but we don't see them do like leisure things, or like, I don't know. It just seems like there's always a purpose for what animals are doing, and therefore it feels like there isn't a consciousness associated with their lifestyles. But I don't know. But why is it that we're just kind of discovering, oh yeah, maybe they do have consciousness? Like what happened? What's going on?
I think we used to always believe that consciousness extended outside the individual. It wasn't until Rene Descartes, it's not exactly true, but he's typically considered to be the beginning of what's called the Cartesian divide, and he's the guy who said, I think, therefore I am.
Like,
but it was really, I
fucking
doubt, therefore I am.
bitch. Like, come on.
And when he did that, when he realized, because he was trying to prove his own existence philosophically, he was like, oh, okay, so I can't prove that there's anything outside, but I can prove that I doubt it. And so therefore I doubt I am, and I exist because I doubt. And when that happened, it caused a shift where the soul or the mind became solely in the purview of the human. And then everything outside of that was dead end matter.
Interesting.
And then it started the Enlightenment and the scientific revolution. And since then, we have all been born into a state where we assume that there's consciousness only in our brains. And so I think we might be just rediscovering what we have been intuiting.
Interesting. So that
prior.
guy that said, I think, therefore I am, like pushed back the the advancement of the research of consciousness into other beings in a way.
Kind of, yeah. And he also, though, like, to his credit, started the whole, like, we wouldn't have what we have today if he hadn't been like done what he did. So there's like a good side and a bad side too, because he started basically, like, he was like ushering in the scientific revolution, because it made, the moment the soul was in the brain, it meant that the outside world could be objectified for the purposes of science. And so because before that, science was not considered, like, it was almost sinful. Like, you shouldn't,
you didn't want
Right.
to, you didn't want to hurt that tree spirit.
right. And like, knowledge comes from the Bible and the Bible alone and all that stuff. And so now they were like, oh, we're going to go, the religious people will handle all that spirit, mind, consciousness stuff. And then the scientists will go outside and
Yeah, it is interesting. Once you figure out your I, you're like, oh, I got this figured out. I am. Now I don't have to worry about this. It allows your brain to open up and be a little bit more curious about everything outside of it. I think a little bit more on a different level.
Yep.
So like you said, you're hitting it with more a scientific route. But it is interesting how it's such a very selfish purview right out of the gate. It's not I think, therefore we am. It's I think,
I think therefore I am.
I am.
And
It doesn't account for anything else, not even your partner.
Right. In the 20, he was very selfish. And I think he died. Did he die a virgin? A lot of them did, but
Wow, interesting.
Fucking nerds.
Because science was too nerdy, or because he decided that it was more important to focus on.
I think, therefore I cuck.
Right. Well,
I think, therefore I don't have sex.
I think, therefore. Also, in the 20th century, Lacan, I believe, was one of the first ones to note that when he said, I think, therefore I am, that doesn't make sense, because he was actually unwittingly trapped within the laws of grammar. And so some people think that consciousness or self-consciousness is only attainable through a symbolic structure, which is language. And so by saying, I think, therefore I am, what he said, for the I is already presupposed in it. So the moment he said I, there was the I. It wasn't just that he was doubting.
That's interesting you said that, because
we're locked into a matrix of grammar that we can never escape from.
I hear that it's a combination of grammar and like memory retention or memory.
Okay.
The fact that we have the ability to remember is a reason why consciousness is a unique factor in humans.
But that's such a pre-assumed
for sure
notion that nothing else remembers, when clearly they do.
But I mean, is it that, or is it just like a motor function or something? We don't know.
I think maybe the combination of like the memories plus the being able to express them in a language.
But also, like, it was interesting that you said that language is important too, because I was talking to a friend about how, there are these awful situations in our lives. We live in a horrible humanity. We live in a nightmare world where sometimes people, non-specifically, I'm sure there are specific cases, but in a general sense, there were these like parents that would like birth a child, and then they would just like leave the child in like one place and not interact with it, and just kind of like, obviously it's a horrible psychological problem. But when they eventually come to like, seize the child, and they're like older, they didn't learn language, they didn't learn anything like that. They just kind of like sat there. They're once they're past a certain point of age, it's like it's too late to learn language. It's too late to learn all this other shit. And then you ask yourself, well, if they can't speak the language, if they can't translate their thoughts into anything, then are they conscious? Do they have consciousness? Are they aware of themselves? Are they aware of life? Are they aware of death? But because language was removed from the equation completely.
Yeah, I think it's Gebser, but he came up with 4 or 5 stages of consciousness, where it starts with archaic, and then it goes to magical and mythical, and then mental. So we're in the mental state right now, in the stage in the history of, and then there's the emergent stage, which we don't know what that'll look like, but it follows the human being developing as well. So like a child, before they learn language, is stuck basically in what would be like the magical phase, where they might be hungry, but they don't know how to express it. They don't have like the words for it. So they cry and then they get like a boob that gives them the milk. And so that to them is like the magical, like they don't know that's the mom. They don't know that they're
Like
separate.
a boob just comes and then food just
Yeah.
happens.
And then when they develop language, then that's them like entering into the mythical stage, because then mom and dad become these sort of like omnipotent figures.
Whoa.
But that's apparently how we like evolved as a species, where we had no language, like our ancestors had no language. And so that would have been the magical phase of consciousness. So we're still conscious, but not to the same
So
degree.
in order to doolittle this motherfucker and we can get some talking animals, is that we got to get just a flurry of women willing to breastfeed animals, and then we'd be talking to those motherfuckers.
Okay, let's write that down.
So you're saying let's push the animal kingdom into the magical phase, so that we can accelerate
Into the mythical phase.
into the mythical
yeah.
phase, so that we
Yeah.
can accelerate consciousness in animals in
Yeah.
in an inorganic way.
I
Oh
also
no, it's
like
actually
Joe,
a very organic way for sure. It's super organic. It's straight
Yeah.
from the teat.
Oh yeah, very. I mean, farm to table, you know.
Yeah, grass fed.
Table to farm.
Yeah,
Table to farm. Yeah, it is table to farm at that
it is
point.
table farm. Joe, I like that you referred to a large group of women as a flurry.
Wait, okay, so I have a question that's maybe like heavy, but I really want to know. I've been
Eugenics.
pondering this question.
Let's talk about it.
What
No.
are the
In this
negative?
in this case, it's moogenics, and I like that better.
It's us-genics.
What are the cons of eugenics? Let's talk about the cons of eugenics, and then let's obviously end with the pros.
I'm trying to find. I can't find any cons to eugenics.
I can't either, honestly.
I'm looking.
So let's just move on to the pros. No, but like, so my question to you guys is, because we think about how like there must be intelligent design, or we're a big giant coincidence, and it's like that seems to be the two big schools of thought with existence, consciousness, all that stuff.
There's also the third both.
It's intelligent design with a mix of coincidence.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, so but with that said, let's say we believe that there's intelligent design. Then what is the point of consciousness? Is it to realize that there is a creator, some sort of creator, and then to worship that creator, which then feels like, is that the point of consciousness, so that we know there's someone to thank for our lives, there's something for us to dedicate the motivations of our lives to, and that's what consciousness is for? Or is it all a coincidence, and humans are currently experiencing a side effect of evolution, a side effect of whatever? It just so happens that in our evolution as humans, consciousness was the next evolutionary step. But the question still remains, if it's an organic coincidence, is there still a purpose for consciousness? Or do you think that because it's a coincidence, it's just a coincidence, and we're just like, we're in a coincidence?
Elliot, tell us what Frank Crinkle said about this.
Frank Crinkle actually
Famously said.
famously. There are multiple theories. One is that consciousness is an epiphenomenon or deviation from evolution, human consciousness, and the other that people say is panentheism, which is that there is a coextensive, like there's evolution happening, but we are essentially nature becoming aware of itself. So consciousness was inevitable because nature is essentially, there's some kind of thrust in evolution that wants to be aware of we're the cosmos becoming aware of the cosmos.
You're saying
Interesting.
we are just doing what nature be doing. We're just at the step that nature be doing currently.
Yes.
But is it all self-preservation then? Like, is everything self-preservation? Because then in that hypothesis, wouldn't it feel like the universe or nature is developing consciousness as a way for the beings to be aware of how to help the survival of this planet, this universe, whatever.
I don't think it's just survival of the fittest. Is that what you
Or
said?
self-preservation.
I don't think so, but I think that's a big part of it. But I don't.
Because I mean, doesn't it feel like because self-preservation feels inherently biological, right? Like ants don't want to die, bees don't want to die, or well, I don't know. It just feels like there's this like things don't want to die. It feels biological more than conscious in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems to be a general thrust toward life and diversity, but there's also a flip side of death and death and death and everything's death. Like I was high the other day with my wife, and I was like, do you ever think about how like our parents had parents, and like every one of those parents had parents, and it goes all the way back to like before they like as a species we were human, and it goes all the way back to like the primordial ooze. And Grace was like, what are you talking about?
Like, how can all that happen in 6,000 years, you know?
She was like, if you just don't... Yeah, exactly.
That's the other thing. It's like, dude, there's so many things, and it's like, I don't know. Does weed make that happen, or does like
weed give you consciousness?
No, like, does weed give you the like, why? Like, man, we had parents that were parents that were parents that were parents that were parents, or is it just like depression, or is it just like, what is it that? Well, there is just this like curiosity that just grows the older we get, and it just feels like that curiosity is never satiated because we just rely on people that are dedicating their lives to the pursuit of these things that we'll never really get the answer to. That's why when, you know, Owen was telling me the other day, like, I don't want to die before aliens get here. And I don't want to die before the singularity happens. And like, I want to be around for all this shit. And I was like, I want everyone to die at the same time, so that I don't have to die thinking I'm going to miss out on when aliens come to hang out with us. You know what I mean? I don't want the FOMO as I die, because that's got to be a horrible feeling of like, I just want to get out of this bed and like go live more.
Oh, man, the sweet notion of the things that this generation gets to worry about in that context. I don't want to miss aliens. I don't want to miss AI. I don't want to miss landing on Mars. While like, you know, our parents were like, I don't want to die before indoor plumbing. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
I really want to know what that's like.
I want a bidet. I want something that'll splash my ass after I shit. Yeah. And maybe that'll exist someday. You know,
I mean, there could be something where it will take my feces away, and I don't have to dedicate 15% of my day to getting rid of my bodily waste.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
But yeah, go ahead, Elliot. What were you saying?
I was just thinking about the lack of plumbing and everything. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, like, we are just like, but Elliot, when you talk about like we have relatives of relatives of relatives that go all the way back to the primordial soup, the ooze, and it's like, doesn't that just feel like a series of coincidences that we're here because all of these people decided to like meet each other and fuck and have children? And the fact that we're here and we're experiencing this future where we can order weed to our door and food to our door and all this shit, like, is that?
I think everyone else is here by coincidence.
You have a purpose.
I have a purpose. Yeah.
You know, he was divine planning for sure.
But
you've seen my TikTok, like, I mean,
yeah.
But you guys have seen, like, because Joe, we're with the crow thing.
Joe with the crow.
Joe with the crow. Joe, what's the crow?
Welcome to my TED Talk. This is Joe with the crow.
Well, so like, you know, are we discovering that we are not the only beings with consciousness, or are we discovering that every species has its own version of consciousness? Because you hear that like plants talk to the trees, talk to the mushrooms, and like tell them rain is coming or like, you know, there's all sorts of like weird things we're discovering about the animal kingdom. Like we were learning the whale language through AI, and crows are helping each other through turmoil and disability. And what is it? What is that? Does everybody have their own, does every species have their own kind of consciousness, you think?
I think so. I mean, it's all just an assumption and a guess at this point. But
yeah.
I think
I'm not
it's
gonna ask him.
yeah, no.
I wouldn't.
Not until we do little those motherfuckers.
Because I mean, everyone's like, I wish I could talk to my dog. I wish I could talk to my cat. And it's like, well, let's say that ability happens someday. Wouldn't there be like a massive? I mean, we're not just talking about language barriers. We're talking about species barriers. Like, how would our thoughts even translate into dog thoughts or whatever? Like, you know what I
Bark,
mean?
bark.
Right? Like barks that all sound the same somehow translate to different things to dogs, and we can't figure that out.
There's just a convenience to thinking that you're at the top of the conscious hierarchy. Like at the end of the day, if you don't consider all of those things on the same level, you get to eat them. You get to
That goes back to Adam.
you get to do anything and everything in your purview to make your life more convenient. And as soon as you attribute consciousness to those other things, it becomes a lot harder to live in the relative comfort that you do based on everything that you do.
But it also doesn't help that notion that we have infrastructure and like technology and like it's hard to feel like we're not at the top of the consciousness chain or whatever when we have like the things that we have empires that like mostly kind of work for a certain amount of time. We have opposable thumbs. It's hard to think we're not superior just based on the fact that we have infrastructure.
We have infrastructure that I think probably traded in for A, destroying the planet, and B, mass depression and a pervasive sense of meaninglessness that makes us think nothing matters. So in that sense, yeah, we're killing it.
I mean, listen, I would trade consciousness for infrastructure. I would trade infrastructure for no consciousness in a heartbeat.
I was going to say there is, maybe there is the theory that matter is just, is itself just concretized consciousness, and consciousness is quantum matter.
Whoa. Yeah, and we haven't really
all
fucked with the quantum realm yet. We don't
It's
know
all on a
much about it.
spectrum. Yeah. And like amoeba has a certain amount of consciousness, and then you get into all the organelles and they have a certain amount of consciousness, and then you get all the way into atomic things and it has a certain behavior about it. It seems to know where it's going, and then you get to the quantum realm, and then you realize that it can be a wave or a particle depending on how we look at it. And then before you know it, you realize that there is no matter, that everything at the deepest level is actually just empty space. And so that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
that doesn't help.
Do you think
that doesn't help anybody?
Do you think that like psychedelics and like ayahuasca like help us reach those unreachable realms, or do you think that's all within the mind and how the mind is a complex thing? And
those are aliens.
Do you think people are really meeting beings? There's so many people that think like we're all meeting the same beings when we take this certain type of drug, and therefore people believe that there's like a plane of existence that they're like consciousness is transferring to.
Well, the scholar of Sufi mysticism, Henri Corbin, French guy, he did come up with the idea or name the idea of the imaginal, which is an ontologically real but immaterial place according to that particular religion.
Wow, I like that.
God, I love smart people. Smart people are fucking cool.
He was a good one. He's Henry Corbin. Also, I always think about that story. I think I read it on like Reddit, but it was about a guy who did like a psychedelic trip, and he saw one of those beings that like. My favorite stories are not the ones where people see like crazy things, but where they see beings that are very ambivalent toward them, like in the trip. That like really creeps me out,
right? Because it's like, where is that coming from? Is that
it's like the alien walking by and fucking signs.
Like some of them be like, "What do you do?" Oh, and they'll be like, they were really kind of like annoyed that I was there, and I guess one of them was like, "Are you guys like?" They laughed at me and said, "Are you guys still eating meat?"
Whoa!
And then like he became a vegetarian after that.
Oh my god!
Can't imagine like a higher dimension being being like, "Are you guys still eating meat, idiot?"
Dude, I love. My friend was like telling me that he had this sketch idea that was like these beings are like all kind of like at these like computer like devices, and they're all just kind of like typing shit out, and then all of a sudden this like hippie dude shows up and is like, "Where the fuck?" And then one of the aliens goes, "Oh, here we go, another fucking like ayahuasca."
Yep. That's it.
And it's,
All right,
and
get in here.
Right? And it's like the guy's like, where am I? And it's like, okay, listen. We keep trying to tell you guys how to come here, and then you guys forget it because this is the only way you come here is through this ayahuasca shit, and you never retain what we tell you. But there is a way for you guys to come back and learn all of our secrets. And the guy's like, whoa, you guys real? It's like, God damn it. You fucking humans suck. Their brains are stupid. Can we just put a little note in their pocket? No, you can't touch them. You can't touch them when they're here.
I have heard stories like that too, where they'll be like, ask like really profound questions, and we're like, we'll tell you everything, but you're not going to remember it. But then they tell him, and then he wakes up and like, oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember. I remember something about pie.
Yeah, it was something.
Like the equation or the food. I don't remember.
Yeah, how do we create an anchor of sorts, almost like how somebody devises a way to pull Freddy Krueger out of the dream state with them when they wake up?
Yeah,
how
dude.
do we do this?
They did that in Dream Warriors or something, didn't they? They brought him back. Dude, that's the fucking best. That's some high concept shit. All the other ones are just like, you get a nightmare, you're gonna die. No, it's high
you're gonna
concept.
slow down with your fucking Nightmare on Elm Street slander, you son of a bitch.
We need Brett Register in here. Most of them are bad. Let's be honest.
I saw another shower thoughts post that I thought was really fun. And it's every once in a while you'll stop and you'll go like, oh, look at all this crap that I have, right? And then you go, how did we get it? And then you go, oh, somebody fucking mined it out of the earth. Or they took this one atom and then they turned it into another and then they fused it into making something. And then we have steel and all this stuff. And we have created out of the dirt a way to create a thing that captures a moment in time. Like we make cameras and it fucking captures time.
Yeah.
Same thing we're doing here. It's like image capturing because we dug shit out of the ground and created the ability to do this. That's
let's see a dog do that. Let's see a fucking giraffe do that.
You know those stories about how like the Native Americans would be like, they didn't like cameras because they felt like it was stealing a piece of their soul. I can totally understand that. Like a camera, the first person who created the camera must have been like, this can't be good.
This is like the person who will one day invent a time machine or something and be like, this can't get in the wrong hands. Dude, that's crazy. Because I mean, I understand the idea of it being like it's stealing my soul. Because in the most primitive way, if you were like, you know, early man, early human, and were shown an image of yourself, you'd be like, where'd you get me? You know? Yeah. How did you get me? How do you get me?
Why am I in that tiny box? Why am I in that tiny thin box? Yeah. How is that box so thin?
How'd you get me in there? Get me out. And I get that. And also as a conscious, you know, participant in this current timeline of humanity, in this time, when I look at a photo of myself from way back in the day, my soul does die a little bit.
When I see me smiling and
happy
with friends and
okay, I actually see these are the interesting conversations we need to have more on this podcast, but only if we change the title. I don't want to go with deep thoughts. Can we just call this shallow thoughts from now on?
Shallow thoughts. Yes.
Or breaking the surface.
Yes.
Barely breaking the surface.
Damn. All right. Well, anyway, you guys been watching the Olympics, or you guys have had any interesting Olympics stories or
I enjoy the Olympics immensely, and I love this weird time that we're in where the Olympics are just creating memes. Like everything is still just broken down to the basic freaking meme culture that it can be, and I find that interesting. It's more it's less about like Steven, the pommel horse gymnast, who's been really fun and kicking ass, and his feats are dope and people respect them, but it's still kind of petered down to its most basic element, which is a meme.
Isn't it interesting that we're at a point in media where, like, you know, because Joe, you and I and Elliot, to a degree, I'm sure Elliot, you remember a time when if you didn't watch something as it aired, you didn't get to see it again until either they re-aired it or they showed something on a highlight reel or something. Like, you couldn't go to the internet and be like, give me all the highlights of this like game or something. You had to like watch it. And now,
I remember like peeing. You had to pee really quick. Like,
yeah, you're like, fuck, I'm gonna miss something.
Yeah.
And then I'll never see it again. And then my
I got
friends
2
are gonna
minutes of commercials, but I also don't want to miss that really good commercial that pops up every once in a while.
Yeah, that could be a good commercial. And it's like, now it's like, I don't need to watch the Olympics. I will be served everything of interest within hours. And I don't have to watch any of it. I can just be like, oh, that's cool.
Well, hot take, I don't like that. It's I actually do no, for real. I'm trying to watch everything in real time as much as I can. So a lot of the stuff is up in early morning, and I'll turn on the old Peacock. Also, good on NBC for making everybody finally sign up for Peacock.
They did it.
But
and they raised their prices.
That's where I enjoy it the
That's how they
most.
get you.
Those early mornings, I can go to the highlights, but I'd rather be invested in the story in real time. And I do miss us as a collective consciousness enjoying appointment viewing together, especially the Olympics. I think it makes it a little less special now that it's so broken up. Even on
I
the
guess
Peacock,
that's true. Sure, I could see that.
Everybody's got to go to they got to take 10 extra steps to get to it. There was something nice about the simplicity of, oh, you better watch NBC at 6 a.m, otherwise you're going to miss it.
Or I kind of always bring it back to when Michael Jackson videos would premiere, and you'd be right after The Simpsons or something, and we've talked about this being a communal experience, and the next day it's like, you know, everyone's just talking about it without feeling like maybe someone missed it. There's no way someone missed that. Like, everyone in the world was watching it at the same time. That like feeling is like gone for sure. Where we like all watch something at the same time, like that just doesn't happen anymore.
It's like the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
the Super Bowl, yeah. But see, but that's the thing. Like, for me, with like for someone that's not super interested in sports, like, I appreciate that I don't have to watch any of it, and I'll just get what everyone's talking about. Like, I know what everyone's talking about because it's everywhere. The thing that everyone's talking about is everywhere. Like the guy with the gun at the Olympics, like that shit's fucking hilarious. I love it. I didn't need to watch the whole shooting thing to get to that one thing. Now I get to be like, I get to enjoy the same feeling everybody else has, but I didn't have to watch the whole fucking thing. So I kind of like, I see both sides of the, but isn't it interesting that it all comes down to convenience? I always think about how like most current innovation is based in convenience. Like, everything that we all go like, yes, I want that now, is based on how convenient it makes something that was inconvenient, I feel like. And it's like, what do we do with that information? Like, do we need to use our brains to think of more things that could create convenience, and that's how we make money? Is that how we get money? Is we help people with convenience?
It's like, you ever think about, like, I was thinking about the bridges. Don't get those, I'll tell you that. I could not, like you're saying, the iPhone, if you get all the comes from nature. Bridges, that doesn't make any sense, because I don't understand how they don't fall all the time, and I don't get how they're made. Like, I can't imagine how a bridge is made, like, at all.
I guess it's like
how do you stick it in the water?
It's like tension, right? So like
that part I get the horizontal part.
You're talking about from beginning to about that middle stage.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
How do you get it in the
Well, you have to build
the water?
Don't you have to build like a scaffolding system or something? Like that's where scaffolding comes from.
He's still more talking about like you've got this big cement pier, basically.
Why doesn't it crumble? Yeah.
That you're putting into the ocean, and you still have to put it in incredibly precise through water, through clay and sand, and to make it be where it needs to be within like a millimeter. Even that millimeter might fuck up your plans. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it is trial and error, right? Because people are like, why does this bridge keep falling? Why does this bridge keep falling? And someone's like, oh, this numerical value on this one piece was
on
fucking everything
abacus.
up. Yeah, this abacus was on a this abacus is loose, or these calculations are off or whatever.
That would be another one where, like, back in the day when they would be like, gosh, I wish, can you even imagine if one day we have the technology where we can walk across this body of water instead of going all the way around
or swimming in it,
weeks and dying of dysentery.
I do not want to die before we can get from here to there.
So does that mean that bridges were the first convenience created for humans, for people with consciousness? This bridge is just
fire
for people
was
with
pretty dope.
I guess that's
Fire.
true. Fire is
Yeah.
convenient. Shit, we can live now in the dark.
And you
That
don't
fucking
want
wheel.
those combined. Fire and bridges are
No.
together.
That's a bad combo.
I like the concept of for millions of years, the guess and check of humans going, fire good, this thing good, put together better.
Let's do it. Fire on bridge. Let's go.
It made the meat really good. What else could it do?
Fire
Yeah, the fact
good.
that we didn't immediately burn the planet down is crazy.
Yeah. Do you think dinosaurs had consciousness?
God damn it,
fire.
Steve.
Because dinosaurs were around longer than us. We're here. Dinosaurs were around way longer than us.
Yeah, but they bitched out. Now we're the fucking top.
All right. Well, Elliot, did you find anything interesting from the Olympics?
No.
Okay.
No, Grace is forcing him to watch it.
Yeah, Grace forces me to watch. No, I watched some of the,
Yeah.
what was it? Man, when it's gone, I'll watch the women's water polo. Don't know the rules. Watch the running. That was pretty cool. Track and field's pretty fun to watch.
Did you ever? Did you
It's the
see
best.
the walking one? I saw like some post about. There's like walking. There's like
Speed
literally
walking.
speed walking. Yeah.
Wow, cool.
And you're right, Elliot. And I remember looking at. They were showing like a slow-mo video of the speed walking, and they're just running. They're just.
Essentially,
Yeah.
I do believe the rule about
I
speed
know
walking,
there's
though.
rules.
I do. They are. That's what I'm saying. It's
I
like
know,
it seems
I-
like it's funny, but there's actually some legit talent.
But
and
that makes
years
it
of training.
funnier, I think.
I'm pretty sure speed walking, you have to have a heel on the ground at all
Yeah,
times.
you can, and you can't. Yeah, exactly. Like you can't. There can't be 2 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
So did you-
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go. It's just funny looking because it's like there are so many rules, and there are so mmany rules that make it what it is. But then when you look at it, you're like, well, this is running.
It's running.
It's running. The way that I'm like, come on, man, that's so funny. That's so funny. Does that need to be in the Olympics?
The one that Joe, did you see the one where it's the biggest person that you've ever seen in your life? These men, and they take a large ball,
The shot
and
put?
and they put
Yeah.
chalk right there. What is it?
The shot put.
Shot put.
What?
Shot put. Hey guys, what do we call this game where you get a ball here and you throw it? A shot put.
We put ball there.
Not throwing? You don't want to go with throwing?
No, put ball there.
I think throwing is another one.
That was like they take it, yeah, and they hold it here, and I was like, what
Yeah.
makes you get into that? Like, why are you?
I want to know the origin of that. Like,
Yeah.
where did
all-
it start? Is
Dude,
it all
this is all-
medieval and like?
no, this is all ancient
Roman?
Greece stuff. Like a lot
Yeah,
of
the
that.
what is it called? The diathlon? Decalothon?
Oh yeah, the
Decathlon?
decathlon.
Decathlon, thank you. The decapitatum.
The decathlon. The decathlon
Did you
theorem.
did you guys see how the French pole vaulter got out?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's so funny, dude. The disqualifications are crazy.
Dude, the
rules
Daily
are crazy.
Beast, I didn't see or hear about anything, and then I saw a Daily Beast headline, and it said French pole vaulter kicked out of Olympics because of his massive dong.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Dude, which is not the worst way to be disqualified from the Olympics.
No, not the most embarrassing way.
Definitely not. Isn't that crazy? And I've seen there are people that get disqualified for crazy shit.
Oh,
and these are
Steve.
people that are like destined to be like famous Olympians that train their whole fucking lives. And not only that, I've learned so much about the Olympics in this year, learning that like there are so many Olympians that were primed for the gold, that were training, that hurt themselves in training, and then the like next person gets to go to the Olympics instead, and that person might suck.
Or they're still at the top of the fucking game, but they're just not as good.
Not as good as that other
They're
guy.
all- they're all superhumans, but the other thing that you have to consider, Steve, is that like we all have a prime couple of years in our lives. Let's
Yeah,
say
that's true.
for most athletes, let's say 20 to 32. Like those are your primes, with the middle of that being your super prime. The Olympics are 4 years apart each time. So if you like pull a hammy, or if you false start and you're kicked out of the race, you have 4 years to wait to maybe get your next
shit.
try. And you might be on the other side of your life parabola by that point and already kind of going down a little bit.
You're
See,
the
that's
Rabla.
more interesting to me than like any other sport, I think. Because I know it's similar. I do. Like I know that it's the same concept with basketball and football and whatever. But with Olympics, it feels like there's so many more stakes.
Yeah. That's why they're fucking great, and that's why they're around, and that's why cities will vie for them, only to have their economies crash
Crumble.
and have
Infrastructure,
dead
the system's
stadiums that just sit there in destitute for years.
Yeah.
The gymnastics, Simone Biles is so great. Have you seen the trend going around of like
It's great. It's
I
great.
regret
It's
to
good.
inform you I didn't make the gymnast
Yes.
Olympics. It's
It
so
has
good.
reinvigorated every clip that's ever been on the internet.
Is that woman that's like 4 foot nothing? She's like this tiny little thing.
Simone, yeah, I mean they're pretty short over there in that sport, I guess, but she's I guess I get the greatest that's ever.
Greatest of all time.
That's
And
so
here-
cool.
And here's
And,
another fact for
That's
you. about
really cool. I like it.
Simone, Steve, is that
Okay.
she is a fucking geriatric in the realm
Oh, so
of
she's
gymnastics.
too old and she shouldn't be doing it.
She's
11 years old.
27. Yeah, she's
She's 11.
Yeah, she's 27.
She's 3 years out of her prime.
Sad.
I think I saw that she's the oldest U.S. gymnast since
No
1980.
shit. That's
Yeah.
fucking cool, man.
And she might come back for Los Angeles. That's how good she is.
No
Which is
shit.
insane.
So we want to do we want
cool.
the Palpatine meme. That's like, I'll be watching your career with great importance or whatever.
Yeah.
She is Palpatine.
No, she's Anakin and someone else is Palpatine. They're watching
she's,
her.
She's Palpatine now because all these other ones that are coming up are like, get off of the stage, bitch.
Oh yeah,
It's
was
my
she the
turn."
one? Oh no. There was like a boxer or something that was like
Oh, that's stupid. That's real fun.
that just won and someone was shitting on them or whatever.
A lot of good stuff going on in our world.
Trash talk.
Jesus.
A lot of trash talk but whatever. I think it's part of the whole thing. Like competition. You put competition in the mix and people get crazy.
If y'all are still living here in 4 years, are you going to go to the Olympics?
Dude,
while
I was
they're in
thinking
Los
about
Angeles?
that. I was like, we should go, right? Because those tickets are going to be fucking expensive, though, aren't they?
It just
We do-
depends. Oh, go
Let's
ahead,
go
Elliot.
to like the silly ones. Like let's
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah. Like
You
the
could.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like put fuck
Speed
or
walk.
whatever. Shoot put. Shoot
Yeah.
put.
Shoot putt.
Shoot ball.
Shoot ball. Let's go see some shoot ball.
Fuck, that's so funny.
Oh,
this
the other thing. The other thing
ball
that
thrower?
that's golf, right? Shoot putt is it?
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about, or I learned, is that most Olympians are like fucking poor,
Well, yes, ones that are not professional athletes.
and then and the countries that send them are like,
Or sorry,
good-
ones that are not professional athletes in one of the major professional athlete categories.
but that's like kind of a lot, right?
It's most of them.
So most of them are like struggling to pay their bills, but they're like dedicating their lives to this.
A lot of them, yeah.
That's why Flavor Flav
So
sponsored
cool.
the women pole. Yeah. 'Cause They,
That's awesome. But
they
isn't
were
that
having a hard
crazy?
time making ends meet.
I guess it's so interesting to see that like these are people that dedicate their lives to this thing that is essentially at the end of the day like
passion.
bragging rights.
a passion, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when Flava Flav heard about the water polo team not being able to make enough money, you know what he said? He said, "Not on my watch."
Not on my clock.
Not on my clock. Not with this clock.
Not with this clock. All right. Well, guys, thanks for listening to the show. What a fun time. I love catching up with you boys every week. I really do. And
Same. Very nice. Very
That's
nice.
a good
Ones.
one. This was a good one. This is a good one. I like
It's a good
it.
one, yeah. We talked about consciousness for too long, and then we got a little bit of Olympics in there.
Which,
I'm
by the
sorry.
way, one final point on consciousness and our ability to take things out of the sand and turn them into cameras. The wonderful thing about our greatness, but also our inability, is that we can do that, but we still have not found a way to make honey.
Yeah, that's interesting. We can't engineer honey the way bees
know
do.
that.
And we have not domesticated the huckleberry bush yet. It still only grows in the wild. So we're not
Really?
perfect.
What's
not
up with
perfect.
that?
We're not fucking perfect.
We don't know why the huckleberry bush can't be grown in like a greenhouse?
We have not perfected it.
Wow, that's crazy. I love that.
I didn't know that about honey either. That's crazy.
It just can't be
man.
synthesized by humans. It needs bees.
Yeah, man. To get real actual honey.
Dude, bees are fucking cool, man. The older I get, the more I appreciate bees.
That's cool, Steve.
Are you on
Thanks, man.
ayahuasca now?
Yes! And you're the beings!
Oh
We'll see you
no,
next time,
Elliot. What
everybody.
if we were the beings? No.
You guys are the beings, and everyone.
Steve, you're gonna forget all of this when you get off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me something that it's okay for me to forget. Tell me right now.
My mom's birthday.
If you're down